Alright, so I'm gonna make this video on my ayahuasca experience. It's been maybe 5-6 hours since doing it, and I have had a really good experience. And I want to share it because sharing the wonders of ayahuasca is definitely beneficial for all of humanity, and sacred medicines just in general is very beneficial and can take you and your consciousness to the very next level, which is what humanity needs at this current moment in time to see certain things clearly. Okay, so I was inspired to do this ayahuasca ceremony because of something that happened in my life. You know, my dad ended up getting prostate cancer, and he tells me within the same month that my mother tells me she got into a really bad car accident that totaled her car. And this all made me very concerning with my family and, you know, being close to them. You know, I have a big heart, and I love my family no matter how toxic that they are, and I couldn't deal with myself if I was told that they were passing and transitioning and I did nothing when I could have done something to help them. That's the reason why I'm going back to the States to try to cure my pops of prostate cancer. But before making that decision, I was very curious, like, why is it that I feel like I'm being called back to America? You know, because for both of these things to happen within 1 month, and I'm out having the best time of my fucking life in Ecuador, cheap rent, you know, good food, good fruits, like tropical fruits, like food I have never had before. So I always thought it was weird, but so I felt called to come do the medicine, and I only come to the medicine when I really feel like I need to, you know. I have that amount of respect for it, and ayahuasca is something that you don't come and play with. You come and get answers. You come with a serious, open heart, you feel me, and gratitude and a humble hand, okay? You don't come trying to play games, and because if you come play games, ayahuasca, Mother Aya will definitely slap you, and you will not be able to block, flinch, none of that. Like, you're just gonna get slapped super hard, and you gonna feel it for like maybe an hour or two. So it's nothing to play with or think that you can play with, you know. It's something very serious, and you use it for, you know, overstanding certain things, okay, and get into the next level with certain things, okay. So when we did the ceremony, I was nervous, and from what I could remember from the ceremony, there were a lot of things that happened. But I'll say this, in short, my ayahuasca experience informed me that we literally are everything, and everything is us. I am the creator, and the creator is I. I felt like I saw the creator, or you want to say God, or you want to say, you know, my higher self. Whichever one, I saw a very divine being that was just glowing, and it opened its eyes several times looking at me. And at first it was just in a super meditative state, you know, like sitting down meditating, you know, and I can just see like beautiful light emitting from this being at random parts of my ayahuasca, you know, journey, you know. And I was always just curious looking at this being, like, who are you? Because I would see like a bunch of crazy shit, I would do a bunch of crazy shit, and I would feel a certain way, lose myself, come back, you know, and then out of nowhere I would just see this being, you know. And at first hold on, before I even tell you that, before I even saw this being, there would be like a sacred shape that I would see, that before seeing this being, I would see this shape, and then when I saw this shape, it would like dissolve, and then from there I would go and like look around or whatever, and then out of nowhere this being will pop up, but it will pop up in a way where I couldn't see the color immediately, and then from that moment, like a little later, the color would reveal itself to me. So it was like a very light color that I wouldn't necessarily say it was white, and I wouldn't say it was yellow, but it was like a very light yellow. But that kept reoccurring, and then also there was a moment, and so I felt like I was able to see like the full spectrum of light, because there was multiple colors that I still to this moment can't really like put a name on, you know. And also I would see certain shapes and certain lights on the shapes always constantly moving. Like, if you guys ever seen the movie Interstellar, there's a point where he goes into this dimension, all right, Stern or whatever his name is, that goes and he gets in the space suit, and, you know, goes to like save the world pretty much, right? But he goes into this dimension, and through this dimension, I believe they called it like the 5th dimension or the 4th dimension. And from there, like the dimension shows literally thousands of memories, probably millions of memories from this one girl's mind, which was his daughter, right? That's how it felt for me, but it wasn't memories that I was seeing. It was actually just like a bunch of like shapes, lines. They would morph into like different like shapes and colors, you know? And every time that it changed shape and color, it felt like I felt that light and that shape morph. And that I was that shape and that I was that light, you know? It like took me, yo. Like at one point it felt like I wasn't even me, you know? It was like I became the light and literally nothing else but the light. Like I would be moving my body because I feel the shape morphing a certain way, like in a certain angle, and I would literally move my body because I feel like I am the shape and I am the light, you know? So that's how it was for me at that moment. And then from there, there was a bunch that happened. Oh my God, this is gonna be quite embarrassing and memorable, but I'm gonna tell it to you straight because this is medicine we talking about, you feel me? Like, so things happen, you know? Oh God, I was deep into like some shit. All right, so there was this point in time where I was like, it was like a sex dimension. I was like around nothing but cheeks, booty, just straight booty, right? And you know, I was just like touching the booty, you feel me? So long story short, I had a very, very long erection time during that ceremony, okay? And it was fun, you feel me? It was very fun and interesting. And something else that I found out was, it's funny because I'm like trying to remember something that just happened like a few hours ago, but it's like kind of leaving me, and I want to document this so that way I fully remember. So something else that happened was like, I was wondering, like, I want to know how all of this works. And the more I tried to figure out how all of this works, it was like the universe or Mother Ayahuasca was telling me, you aren't meant to know how all of this works. Nobody is, you know? And the more I tried to figure out how this works, the more I gave myself to the shape and the light, the more I was like smacked in my face like, no, you thought you knew how this works, but this is not how it works. Which was funny because every time I would try to figure this out and feel it through feeling, I feel like Mother Aya would it would be humorous to her, you know, or to the universe to let me fail, you know? Like, it's humorous that you think you can figure all this shit out, but really, you know, you would never figure all this out, you know? But it's funny and cute that you try. And then at one point I felt like it was torturous because it's like, fuck, I want to figure this out, you know? And at that point I remember laughing at myself because I would try so hard and literally not get close at all to trying to figure out how all of this works, you know? You know, how this light is shifting to another light and what this even means that I'm seeing this light in these shapes, you know? So another thing is this too, like, yo, I feel like I saw a reptilian. And now let me explain, because people, oh, hola, like the horses and shit. That's literally Ecuador for y'all. I love it. I remember I was like looking at this rock when I went outside to go do a number of things, which I'm going to talk about. But I went to go look outside and I saw this rock that had like a reptilian kind of like snake headish or a lizard headish like shape. And I looked at the rock and said, I know exactly what you are. Reveal yourself to me. And through me saying that, it actually did. And when it did, I had a very calm energy, you know, and I greeted. Oh, actually no, he stuck out his hand, or it stuck out his hand, and I shook its hand, and it had a very like dark greenish, like skin scalish color. And then something else that happened was this is TMI, so if y'all don't want to, you know, listen to this part, just, you don't have to, but it's very, very TMI. So originally I had some passion fruit, some orange, coconuts, and like fruits, right? But literally just those fruits had me feeling like I had to take a shit. It did, because I remember getting to you know, the place where we're gonna do the ceremony and feeling like, damn, this is an odd feeling I'm having. Like, I gotta take a shit, but I don't at the same time. It was like that that moment before you really got to take a shit, you know? The entire time during the ceremony, I'm like, okay, can I hold all this shit in for like the next day? Can I? And long story short, I couldn't. I ended up well, first off the guy said, if you got to take a shit, there's a restroom that way, and there's, you know, you can use this over here. And I forgot that he said the restroom was over there. So there was a moment where I was like, fuck, I can't hold all this shit in and not let it out. And this is so nasty, but it's so true, because this is just what happened, you know? But anyways, I go to the side, right? And I piss a few times, right? And I remember saying, fuck it, okay, I'm gonna just take a shit. I got tissue with me, like, I'm good. They said I can take a shit, and then we're in the jungle, so like you can literally just take a shit and like be good, you know? Like, it's good for the soil, you feel me? This is what human beings were doing a long time ago, so like there's nothing weird about this, okay? So I go and I literally take a shit. As I'm taking this shit, I'm like, fuck, they're like 10, maybe 15 feet away from me. I hope they don't hear me farting, right? So boom, I'm shitting, right? And then out of nowhere, all you just hear there, it was just like, you know? And I was like, oh shit, I hope they didn't hear me. And they didn't hear me, surprisingly. But like the shaman that was doing, you know, the ceremony, he came outside and he was like, hey Jeremiah, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I just full of shit right now. And I can't take a shit. It won't come out. And he started laughing, and he said something that was so funny that I cannot remember to this very moment. And he couldn't either. But like, he said something that was like, he said something that was so fucking funny, and I remember just like laughing so hard while I was taking this shit. So like literally it was like this. I was like laughing, right? I'm like bending over on like the edge of a ledge, and I'm like laughing because he said something that was so funny. I would go from laughing to shitting to farting at the same time. So it would be like, like, yeah, that was a real shitty moment. Okay, it was disgusting. It was real disgusting. Like the person that was like on the side of me, dude was telling me, my homie Bryce, he was telling me like, you know, you were like in your you were in your sleep speaking both Spanish and English, because I've been like practicing my Spanish like heavily out here. You know, it's been dope. I've learned a lot of Espanol. Mi Espanol es mejor, you know, mejor, however you say it, it's improving. A lot, you know? Like, so, okay, I'll say this as well. There was a time where I had started to speak a language that I never spoke before. And the only thing that I could remember was like, it was something along the line. It was weird. It was like whistles, clicks, clacks, and like it was like shit like that, you know? But the way I did it was so interesting. And I remember like at one moment just like examining my body, being like back into my body. And I was like I was laying down on my back like this. Or I was like this. Yeah, I was like this. Right? With my hands like this. And with my right leg over my left. Some people call it like a light language. Honestly, I feel like I was just probably tapping into like some DNA. Like I definitely, there's no way to explain that, because that's definitely just DNA activation right there. And that's the beautiful thing about ayahuasca and these sacred medicines, because you can tap into that DNA and, you know, revisit certain moments in time, ancestors, you feel me, things you used to do, things that you know. And I wouldn't be surprised if I know that's like a language that I once, somewhere in my DNA, you know, have used somehow. Before even starting the ceremony, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do 2 cups, because last time I did ayahuasca, I only did 1. When I said I was gonna do 2, the guy didn't even bring out, you know, another cup. You know, he didn't even give people the opportunity to walk up and get another cup. So I'm kind of glad he didn't, you know, say, hey, come and get another cup, because I just didn't want to take another cup, but at the same time I wanted to take another, because it's the best place to get the experience, you know. No 5G towers, you feel me, like straight land, natural, just life, you know. Like the magnetic field here is like so different. I don't really want to make this too long, but you know, moral of the story is just like, what I got from this experience was that life is forever changing. You aren't meant to know everything, period. And no matter how much you try, like humanity has done, no matter how much you try, you are not meant to know everything. So when you try, be prepared to fail. Although failure leads to success, be prepared to fail, because there's some things that you just are not meant to know, you know? And that's what I took from this experience. And I'm okay with not knowing everything, because what's the pleasure in knowing everything but yet still living this life? You know, I feel like if we knew everything, then what's the reason to exist? It's like knowing how to play a game the best way possible, and you done like ace the game on beginner, medium, intermediate, and advanced. You done beat the game on all 3 levels. What's the point of playing the game anymore? The thing too that I say is this: like, when there's like that sex dimension for me, I was like eating pussy. I was eating pussy, man. I was eating all types of pussy on some real fucking nasty shit. I'm just being real with y'all, you know? It was a very trippy experience, because I was like shitting, I was seeing reptilians, I was interacting with different, beings, you feel me? Talking to them, talking to the experience, reacting to the experience, because I knew that like Mother Aya was like watching me, and I was shitting, and I was, having sex. Talking in code or talking in light language, whatever you want to call it. I was in like the halls of Egypt or something like that, and from me being in there, it was like they acknowledged me, but it was like they didn't acknowledge me, but they knew that I was there, and there was a being that I saw that felt like it touched my DNA, or touched me in a certain way so deeply that I just felt called to speak. And when I spoke, that language just came out. That I can't even do it. But the way it came out, it was so like smooth that like it was just smooth. Like I can't even fully explain it. It's raining right now. It's raining. Hallelujah. It's raining, Mary. I think that's it for right now. Alright, so I'm back in America. Thank you guys for watching the video. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, as well as showing love on my last video. I greatly appreciate it. As well as look, man, if y'all want to go alkaline, lose some weight, and get fit within a short amount of time, specifically 12 weeks, okay? 12 weeks to get your health right, as well as to get your body right and in shape, send me the DM with the word alkaline on my Instagram, Tropical Jeremiah, and let's see how we can get you right, man. 12 weeks, okay? Have a good one. Peace.